The golden light of the sunset was disappearing as Dad and I stepped into the familiar glow of Burger Spot. The restaurant was busy with kids laughing and the quiet sound of people chatting while eating. We walked up to the counter and I looked around the room. That's when I saw him. In the corner, half hidden behind a plant, sat a man. He looked about my dad's age, with slicked back hair and eyes that seemed too sharp, like he was seeing things other people didn't. He wasn't eating, and he wasn't waiting for anyone. He was watching me. I felt a shiver run down my spine. I quickly turned back to Dad as he ordered our food, hoping the weird feeling would go away. But when we sat down, I couldn't help but glance over my shoulder. The man was still staring, his lips curling into a thin, strange smile. "Ava, are you okay?" Dad's voice pulled me back. "Yeah, Dad, just tired," I said, forcing a smile. When Dad sat down, the man's smile disappeared, and he stood up, slipping out the door. I felt relief for a moment, but as I glanced over, I saw him standing just beyond the glass door, still watching me before he melted away into the shadows. The drive home was quiet except for the crickets chirping outside. I kept looking out the window, watching the shadows fly by as Dad's car took us down our street. Each time the headlights shone on a hedge or a parked car. I held my breath, afraid I might see that man again. When we pulled into our driveway, I felt like I could finally breathe. But when I looked in the side mirror, I thought I saw a shadow, a figure, slipping back into the darkness. I blinked hard, telling myself it was nothing. "Come on, kiddo," Dad said, totally calm. "Let's get inside before the mosquitoes eat us alive." Our house was warm and familiar, filled with all our memories. But that night, as I lay in bed with the window cracked open for fresh air, I heard a sound outside. It was soft, like the rustle of dry leaves, but something about it seemed wrong. I sat up, peeking through the curtains to see the empty street below. Nothing, just the wind. But when I turned back toward my bed, I caught a glimpse of something in the glass, a pale, glistening eye staring right at me from the corner of my window. I yanked the curtains shut, my heart pounding. It must have been my imagination, right? That's what I told myself as I lay awake, listening for any little sound. The next morning, the sunlight felt like a relief, chasing away the fear. I convinced myself I'd been paranoid, but on my way to school, I noticed footprints in the dirt beneath my window. They were large, too large to belong to Dad. They were facing the house. "Probably just a neighbor's cat." Dad shrugged when I told him. His casual answer only made me more nervous. No cat could leave prints like that. For days I tried to ignore the feeling, but it was always there, like a chill on my neck. I heard tiny noises, hinges creaking, scratches on the back door that could be from branches. Or maybe not. One evening, I sat alone in my room, trying to focus on my homework. The soft sound of the TV downstairs made me feel safe, reminding me Dad was close by. But then I noticed a shadow move across my window. I froze. This time I knew it wasn't my imagination. I lifted the edge of the curtain to peek out. Standing under the streetlight was the man from Burger Spot. He didn't move. He just watched, a faint, creepy smile on his face. In his hand, he held something small and crumpled. A photograph. Even from that distance, I could see it was a picture of me. My heart raced with panic. I stumbled out of my room and ran down the stairs, yelling, "Dad! Dad!" Dad was instantly alert, his face filled with worry. "What's wrong, Ava?" "There's a man outside," I stammered, pointing toward my room. "It's the same man from Burger Spot." Dad's expression grew serious. He checked the window by the door, then stepped out onto the porch. The street was empty, and the only sound was the rustling of leaves. But he believed me. "We'll call the police," he promised, and then we went through the house, checking every window and lock. The police came and took notes, promising to keep an eye on our neighborhood. I felt a bit better, but I couldn't forget the man's face or that strange photo of me. Days went by, and the uneasy feeling lingered. I started looking up news stories online, searching for anything that might explain who this man was. After hours of reading, I found it, an old article with his mugshot. Gerald Poe. He had been a suspect in a string of disappearances almost 10 years ago, but was released when they couldn't prove anything. They never found the missing girls. That evening, a storm arrived. Thunder boomed, and rain hammered against the house. The lights flickered, then went out, leaving everything in darkness. Then came the knock, slow and heavy. My heart skipped. It came again, louder this time, and with a faint scratching sound that made my stomach twist. "Dad," I whispered, but he was already at the top of the stairs with a flashlight, signaling for me to stay back. A raspy voice cut through the storm. "Ava!" I was frozen, fear holding me in place. The scratching moved to my bedroom window, like it was calling me. I dashed to the kitchen, reaching for my phone, when I heard the sound of breaking glass. He was inside. Everything happened in a blur. A shadow lunged toward me as I screamed. Dad raced down the stairs, his flashlight swinging wildly as he tackled the man. They struggled, and the man's pale, angry face glared at me, even as he fought Dad. "Run, Ava!" Dad yelled, his voice strained. But I didn't run. I spotted the fireplace poker by the hearth. My hands shook as I grabbed it. The man shoved Dad aside and rushed toward me, but I swung with all my strength. The poker hit him hard, leaving a gash on his cheek. Sirens wailed in the distance, and flashing lights filled the room as the police burst in, weapons drawn. The man tried to escape, but was quickly taken down and led out in handcuffs, still wearing that creepy, twisted smile. I sank to the floor, shaking as Dad hugged me close. "It's over," he whispered, trying to calm me. But as I hugged him back, my hand brushed against something in my pocket. I pulled out a crumpled note. The ink was smeared from the rain, but the words were clear. "You caught me tonight, but I've been watching for years." Later that night, as I was finally able to relax, I felt a soft nuzzle against my leg. It was our neighbor's cat, Sandy, purring and rubbing against me, her warmth a comfort in the stillness. I gave her a scratch behind the ears and whispered, "Thanks for watching over me, Sandy." Thank you for watching The Silent Watcher, brought to you by Nightmare Maker, and don't forget to share it with friends who enjoy spine-chilling tales. Want more nightmares to keep you on the edge of your seat? Follow for your next haunting tale, if you're brave enough.